The story of the woman in the surgical mask is one of the most sinister on this list of Korean urban legends. Years and years ago, there was a woman who was so incredibly beautiful, but she was extremely vain and self-centered. Her husband was an abusive, jealous man who became convinced she was cheating on him. One day, after arriving at home, her husband began to beat her, eventually grabbing a sword and slicing her mouth from ear to ear while saying, "Who will think you're beautiful now?" Sadly, she died from blood loss. After that, she became an enraged spirit who walks the earth wearing a surgical mask to cover up her face. If you so happen to be wandering the streets of Korea and the ghost of Kuchisaki approaches you, you must do the following. She will ask you in a hushed voice, "Am I beautiful?" No matter what, you will not be quick enough to respond, and she will tear off a mask screaming, "Am I beautiful now?" After revealing her terrifying face, if you happen to say no, she will kill you by decapitation. And if you say yes, she will slice you ear to ear just like her. The only true way to escape is by saying, "You look normal to me." It might confuse her, giving you some time to run away. Sightings of the horrid apparition go as far back as the 1970s. The earliest tales of the woman are of her hunting down children in the streets. The rumors of this ghost spread so much, it caused the police in the local area to set out on patrol for any suspicious activity. Even teachers began walking children home from school to ensure their safety. Virgin ghosts are said to be found in older, abandoned buildings and in isolated parts of the forest. They have long, dark hair covering their faces, dressed in all-white gowns with no shoes and just a pair of perfectly white, clean socks. The virgin ghosts have also been called Chonogwishin. When encountering one of these entities, it's been said that there will be a drastic change in temperature in the room, giving the potential victim fair warning to leave the area immediately. One urban legend tells of a man who was searching through a building when, suddenly, the room became freezing cold. The man kept on his pursuit until he heard a voice. Not just any voice, but the voice of a virgin ghost. The being then instructed him to close his eyes and count to 100. The man did as he was told until he reached the number 49, when the urge to open his eyes overcame him, and he looked directly at the ghost. That was the last thing the man would ever see. Here is a bit of backstory on where this urban legend came from. Though there are some debates on the true origins, most point to old Korean culture as the culprit of this story. See, back in those days, for a woman to die as a virgin meant she died without a partner and did not produce any offspring. So parents came up with a way to ensure their children would grow up and have families by creating this elaborate legend. Children grew up hearing that if they did not lose their virginity by the time they died, they may too become a virgin ghost, forever haunting the living. It's very peculiar when you think about it. In our society, it isn't typical for parents to encourage their daughters to lose their virginity. There is a popular urban legend that has been passed down through multiple generations about a girl and sesame seeds. The story starts with a young girl, like many people her age, was suffering from low self-esteem issues, especially about her skin. She wanted to keep it looking young and beautiful for as long as she could. She would try anything to keep her skin flawless, and that was her exact downfall. One day while at school, a friend of hers informed her about a new, organic skin treatment. The girl told her the way to achieve immaculate skin was with 2 simple steps. First, the girl had to obtain sesame seeds and place an abundance of them inside a bathtub. The second and last step had the young woman sitting and soaking in the bathwater for hours and hours. The girl did exactly what her friend had told her to do, but she didn't get the result she had hoped for. Hours upon hours passed, and the girl still hadn't come out of the bathroom. So much time passed that even her parents began to take notice. Her mother even went to the trouble of knocking on the door and asking if she was okay. But the only response she received was, wait a minute. This went on for a few more hours until the parents could no longer wait and kicked down the door. What they saw was so chilling, it was almost indescribable. There she was, their daughter, sitting naked and wet in the corner of the bathroom, covered in black dots. She had a crazed look in her eyes, and as the parents examined her more, they could see that the sesame seeds had somehow sunk into her paws. This sent the girl into a frenzy as she began stabbing herself with a toothpick over and over again, trying to remove each and every sesame seed from her once beautiful skin.